My friends, let's do this. So this is going to be, for those of you that are watching, this is going to be my video over my thoughts on, first off, we'll start off with the TA. So if all you care about is the TA and not my opinion on dilution for AMC, I'll do that at the beginning of the video. Once that's done, then I want to talk a little bit about my thoughts on dilution. Okay, so you guys know the deal. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. I am here for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Glabman. As I always say, that's the easiest way to get my ideas and thoughts, the easiest way to ask me questions. I try to answer as many questions as I possibly can throughout the day. During the week, it's a lot harder just because, you know, running my gym and everything along those lines. But having said that, we'll keep it as short as possible. If the video is helpful to you, please like and subscribe. If it's not helpful to you, please keep scrolling on and do your thing. All right? I don't care. So let's jump into the chart. So the first thing I want to talk about is going to be, we'll talk a little bit more micro, and then we'll kind of zoom out and see what the macro picture is looking like. So I think I tweeted out Sunday night about this falling wedge right here and saying something along the lines basically of, this is going to be the falling wedge, is the Batman news going to be good enough for us to break out of it? And interestingly enough, it actually kind of dipped below before catching our major support line, and then it kind of broke up and above. So you guys know the deal. I love saying it. The people who say TA don't work, I mean, you can just look at this chart and see how it respects all the lines that I have drawn on it currently. So a move down tomorrow to kind of retest this breakout a little bit before a move back up towards the top around that 16 range, probably get rejected again. Once again, as I always say, all things are possible with volume. The next big resistance line we've got coming up is going to be this one, as you can see, from our peak up here at basically $21, let's call it. We have been in a downtrend or a bear trend line since then. And so between our long-term support line and our and when I say long-term support line, I'm talking about the yellow line. You'll be able to see it better here in just a second whenever I zoom out. And then our long-term support line right here, this blue line right here, I'll show you why I think it's so important here in just a second. So the bear trend, okay, that's going to be your purple line. And then our support line, we definitely want to get back up inside this triangle or this pennant before we start looking to push out. I said this week I thought we'd finish up somewhere around like 17 to 1750. So long as the overall market continues to rebound today. Today wasn't a bull trap, let's hope. So, you know, that's kind of what I see as far as that goes. All right. You can always look at, when you're wondering about, you know, where potential bounces could be, you can always do your Fib Retracements. So you go from your lowest low to your highest high, and that's going to give you some ideas of, you know, different support lines right in here, okay? When you zoom out a little bit further, so now I'm going to go to the daily chart. So, believe it or not, I've had this line right here on my chart since, and you can go back and watch the other videos, since we were right here. And I always said, you know, back here, you can see how AMC traded around this line right here for almost 2 years, and it provided lots of touch points of both support and resistance kind of ribboned around it. Also, too, when you zoom in real close here, you can see that this was our big time resistance before leading up into the major June run, okay? So we definitely want to see this hold. Now, if you zoom in real close, you can see that we almost touched it today, but not quite. And once again, we've broken it a couple of times, but we've never closed below that line. So that's why I've always said kind of that 1450 range to me is super important. Okay, obviously the overall market has had a pretty crappy week so far. So the fact that we've held up right in here, I think, once again, I think it's a good sign. This is why somebody was asking me today, do I think the bottom is in? And that's why I said yes. I do think the bottom is in, unless something super crazy happens as far as, you know, Russia going full nuclear mode or anything along those lines, or something crazy with inflation, things of that nature, okay? So we definitely want to see this hold. Another reason why this is such an important support is going to be if we go from right here, from the buy button collapse to the top of our June run, you can see that 1442 is also the 618 Fibonacci, okay? And once again, it has provided a lot of support so far. Let's hope that that continues. All right. That's pretty much everything for TA, guys. Not too much has changed. I said I thought we would be kind of range bound this week. So far, that is going to be what's happening. If you look at the Bollinger Bands, they are continuing to tighten. Also, too, I think the reason we saw a nice little relief bounce today is the price was starting to get outside the bands. And as you can see, it came back up in and closed in and above. So I think continued upside, you know, kind of trading along right in here, you know, throughout the rest of the week. I said on Saturday, and I posted it today on my Twitter page. You can go back. Well, here, I'll just pull it up for you. Right here, that this is kind of what I thought this week would look like. And so far, you know, so I think, let's see, today's Tuesday, so maybe kind of Wednesday and Thursday, sort of trading on this line, and then starting to push up, you know, just a little bit is going to be what I think is what's going to happen. So that is going to do it for the TA. So if you're not interested in hearing my opinion on dilution, please go ahead and stop the video right now. But other than that, let's talk about the super, you know, sensitive topic about dilution. So I want to lay a couple things out for everybody. Number one, on this channel, and my personal belief that around here, we do facts over feelings. I do not let my emotions control me. I control my emotions. Full disclosure, when this idea was first brought to me by Esther, was the first person that I saw, and then Rico kind of backed it up. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. My first initial gut response was, I absolutely hate the idea of dilution. Okay? That was my initial response. And if you followed me on my channel, you know I'm a big believer in my gut feelings. Okay? Now, I also told Esther that I would be willing to look at it. And so he published, let me just, well, I've got it up on my Twitter profile. Uh-oh, I already go past it. Yep, I already went past it. Sorry, guys, hold on one second. So if you go to my Twitter page, you'll be able to see, okay, right here. I read it through, and it's a lot, okay? But if you are not willing to read like a 20-page document based on a company that you have money invested in, then you are lazy as far as I'm concerned, and you don't deserve to be well off. Okay, if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to put in the research, if you're not willing to put in the effort, you don't deserve it. Now, you could still get lucky, but you don't deserve it. The best things in life come to the hardest workers. That's just my personal opinion. So I read the paper. And when I first read his thesis, and please feel free to go, once again, I encourage everybody to go read it. And he has said that it is going to be kind of like a living document, so he might make some changes, add some research to it, things of that nature. The document makes a lot of sense. Now, before you go and call me a shill and I'm trying to kill a squeeze or anything along those lines, that is absolutely not what I want. And sorry, guys. I know this isn't, you know, I'm just kind of rambling. I'm just sort of, you know, talking to you right now. At the end of the day, I want AMC to squeeze as much as the next person, but there is a very valid argument that this could help bring in some much needed volume. If you followed me long enough, you know I have talked about several times that there's a bunch of indicators giving us room and saying we're ready to run, and the one thing that is missing is going to be the volume. Now, yes, you can sit there and say, well, it's routed through the dark pools and it's not fair and all that kind of stuff. And you know what else isn't fair? Life's not fair. So once again, we're dealing with the situation that we have to deal with. Okay. Now, I do believe change is coming. Go to AMC Bigums. He did a video on the new ruling that is going to be, I think it was July, sometime in July, that, you know, is supposed to really help out, where each share gets tagged with EIN codes, things of that nature. So go watch that, but that's not what this video is about. So after I read Esther's paper, I was still not for dilution, but I at least went, okay, that makes sense. And then I watched Rico's video and his video. So I highly recommend, if you don't already, go to Rico's Trades, watch his video. I feel like he lays out a very solid case for it. So I'm going to be honest, my friends, I'm torn a little bit, okay? Gun to my head, if you will, I still don't know that I think that dilution is the best route for AMC from a squeeze standpoint. I agree. You know, if a bunch more shares hit the marketplace, you know, we definitely would see some pullbacks and everything along those lines. And I've already seen a bunch of people, you know, saying, well, if they dilute anything, I'm taking my shares and I'm going home. And that is totally fine. Okay. You have every right to do that. I want to, so just so you guys know that, you know, I'm on your team, and I'm not trying to just, you know, bandwagon anything. I want to read to you what I said to CEO Adam Aron. And I told him, I said, my friend, because I'd like to think that he is, if I may be so bold, but your shareholders would like answers. And we want answers. We have seen constant improving fundamentals, and the stock has dropped 65% in the last 4 months alone. I personally would like more information about the debt and what we can do to help pay it off. If you would tell us what you need to further AMC as a company, we would be on board. Most of your shareholders are rational thinking investors who care about the future of AMC, but not at 65% returns, negative 65% returns, and a lot of debt. I have been very outspoken in my support of you, and I believe in you, your company, and the future is cinema. Myself and millions of others will do whatever it takes, but we also expect and demand, and I mean that, transparency from the team that is leading the way. We want you, AMC, and us to win. I don't know if you'll even see this, but if you do, I wanted to say thank you for what you're doing. I mean, the reality is, guys, is we can only imagine how stressful that job is. As a leader in my own personal company, I know it's tough and there's a lot of pressure. We will support you, but we also want answers on and how we can move forward. God bless you. Thank you again. So I'm at the point too where I'm getting a little bit like, okay, you know, I just need to see the wheels on the bus going. And once again, you know, we can sit there and we can scream manipulation and everything along those lines. But I hear a lot of good things from Adam Aron. I said in my earnings video that I like his tone, things of that nature. However, I need more than just lip service for my investment, okay? I love big talk, but big action better come with big talk, okay? And what I mean by that is, to me, your words mean nothing if your actions don't line up with your words. Those two need to coincide with each other. And so at the end of the day, once again, I do think as of right now, Adam is doing a great job. Okay, so let's talk about dilution. So what exactly is dilution? For those of you that are new and you may not know for sure, it's when a company issues more stock. Okay, and each shareholder now essentially has a reduced ownership or a diluted ownership of shares at that point in time. And this can be viewed very negative. And typically there are some negative, you know, there's usually, if you go watch Rico's video, there's once, you know, a offering becomes available, then there is a pullback, but every run was preceded by some share offerings, okay? So there are some good reasons to offer more shares, okay? It's a means to boost revenue. You can raise money for new ventures. That could be like a new product, a new partnership, buying out competitors, things of that nature. So there are, once again, overall, you know, gun to my head, do you want dilution? No, I don't. However, there are some certain, very certain circumstances that I would support it, okay? And I would want and I would expect a ton of transparency to come along with it. So what that means is if Adam Aaron came out tomorrow and was like, hey, we're just going to do, 100 million new shares out there in the market starting tomorrow, I would be pissed. And I would probably pull my investment from AMC if something like that happened, if we were kind of blindsided by it. The reason I never had a problem with his selling his shares is because we knew about it from the get-go. So I would be super pissed if we're kind of blindsided by it. And, myself, like a lot of people, they're down a lot of money in AMC anyway, or definitely they've seen their returns get whacked since June. So anybody that got super pissed off about it and was like, I'm essentially taking my ball and going home, man, I wouldn't blame you at all. I'm almost at the point where it's like, once again, the money and the shares that I've invested with AMC, I've got to see this bad boy through. So my initial reaction, I would not be happy, and I still might do it, just mainly from a principle standpoint. Once again, I believe integrity matters. So here I'm gonna lay out a list of ways that I would support dilution, and they're very specific. Okay, so I would support a dilution if first a proper share count was held prior to the dilution. So if it was like hey, we want to introduce 50 million new shares, but before we're going to do that, we're going to do, and honestly, I don't have the answer for that. But if there was some way to do some type of share recall or share count or anything along those lines, an NFT, that was attached to a share, yes, I know they have some issues with doing that. I'm just saying if there was some type of share count performed before issuing new shares, then I would support dilution in that case. There's also very specific ways that I would expect the money to be used. Number one, if you've watched me for a while, you know that debt has always been my biggest concern with AMC, because right now they have over $5 billion worth of debt. And so I would want some of the debt paid down with any type of basically anything that has a very high interest rate. I'm okay with some debt, but I need it to be very manageable debt as far as I'm concerned. So anything that is going to be a high, interest rate debt, anything that is coming due soon. Once again, and I took notes, okay? I made myself notes and everything like that, so I'm not just trust me, bro, or anything like that. So right now, AMC has about $5 billion in debt. And this is all what I could find on Google, okay? So if it's wrong or it's missourced, I apologize. Once again, do your own research. So AMC currently has $5 billion in debt. So at its current share price, that would be 312 million shares. And I don't want anything like that. Once again, I'm okay with some debt. But they have 500 million in debt with a little bit higher interest rate, 373.5 million. The 500 million comes due in 2025, 300 in 2026, and 73.5 also in 2026. Once again, I don't know if that's those articles were published at the end of January, so I don't know that reflects any new the debt restructuring that they've been doing or anything along those lines. So that could definitely be wrong, but I would want to see, in any money that is raised, I definitely want to see a portion of it going towards debt being paid off. Starting new ventures, like using it to fund and get a crypto going up and running, like a crypto specifically for AMC. If they kept that war chest, if you will, as retained earnings, I tweeted out how. Let's see here. Once again, I tweeted out some tinfoil stuff here. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. But basically, Adam Aaron, he tweeted out the what do you guys think of this? Find the hidden message or anything like that. If you Google dividend symbol, this is literally the first picture that pops up. Is what is in the sky. I don't know that it's anything. Just kind of something that I saw and found. And then also too, people are always like, well, you can't pay dividends, if you have negative earnings or anything along those lines. And, a simple Google search, can a company pay dividends if the net income is negative? And the answer is yes, it is legal to pay dividends even when a company is net negative retained earnings or even net negative income. Dividends are set and paid to owners of common and preferred shares at discretion of the company's management and board members. So, and once again, I'm not positive on the mechanics of this, but if they could use any type of offerings to be that as retained earnings that would then provide a dividend or anything along those lines, once again, I could fully support that. If it was used to acquire some competitors. So if, Adam Aaron talked about how you can acquire a lot of theaters for great prices right now. If they went in, and once again, this is speculation on my part, but if they use that share offering and were able to go in there, and buy up a, Cinemark or anything along those lines where they, really had a monopoly over the marketplace, I could find reasons to support it in that situation. I personally, if they did any type of offerings, I would want it to be very small. Let's say like maybe 30 to 50 million shares, somewhere in that ballpark, to let's even see where this road takes us. If it was a massive dilution or anything along those lines, once again, without a proper plan in place and transparent with the shareholders and, yada, 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 I'd be pissed. I'd probably yank all my money out. But also, too, I would want to see that Adam Aaron and the other executives, basically all the people who have been selling a ton of shares at much higher prices than what we're currently trading at, I would want to see that they are being vested and they are buying back in shares and they are, held accountable to the future of AMC. And yes, I know that that has a lot to do with their compensation packages and everything like that. As far as I'm concerned, all the shares that have been sold that we have been told about were going to happen. So anything beyond this point, if you don't believe in your company enough that you're letting your, executives and yourself start selling a bunch of shares or anything along those lines, that's going to be a problem in my book. Okay? So I want to see that they are in it with us. If we are going down with this ship, they better be going down with us. Once again, this is just my personal opinion on how I feel about everything. So under those specific circumstances, so once again, if a share count is performed beforehand, before new shares are issued, I would be open to it. Paying down a lot of their debt, especially any high interest debt or anything along those lines that really help shore up the fundamentals in the future of AMC, I would be okay with that. If it's used to start new revenue streams, I don't think they don't need it to start the popcorn business or anything along those lines. They have a lot of cash. Once again, we talked about they have 1.8 billion. So if it's just we're going to offer a whole bunch of more shares so we can stick a whole bunch more money in our war chest, that's not good enough for me. Okay. Once again, any type of buybacks down the road, I would want it to be a small amount of shares. I want to see Adam Aaron and the other executives involved in this play. I want to see them buying up shares just like we have been. So those are going to be the circumstances that I would be okay for an offering. But it's very specific. And once again, if you ask me right now if it was like, do you want it or do you not want it? I wouldn't want it, okay? Not without a clear path from the leadership of this company. So that is going to be my personal opinion on it, guys. So once again, my gut reaction was just hell no whenever I first heard about it. And I'm still not completely, on board with everybody else the way they feel about it. I'm pretty torn on it if I'm being just as honest as I can. So I would be okay with it in certain circumstances, but overall, it's just not going to be my jam. I mean, because the reality is if they do a share offering, there is a potential that, once again, that the more shares that are out there. But the reality is we all believe, all right, we're in this play because we all believe that the float of AMC and GameStop and several other, meme basket stocks has been sold multiple times over, okay? I do believe that there's probably about 4 to 5 times the float of shares floating around out there. I mean, I don't believe retail owns 90% of the float. I believe retail owns a lot more than 90% of the float. But the bottom line is something's got to happen to get some, shares either recalled, buyback shares. I mean, something we need something to kind of you know, get this train moving. We need some catalyst and everything along those lines. And, you know, yeah, we would be crucified in the media and everything like that. But the bottom line is we're already treated like a bunch of morons, okay? That's the reality of it. You know, other than maybe close friends and family, you talk about AMC, you sound like a whack, crazy conspiracy theorist, okay? So I don't care at all about that. So anyway, I know this video is, you know, run well over what a normal video is, but AMC is important to me. You guys are important to me. And so I wanted to try to make it as clear as possible. So I'm sorry. I'm not a yes for dilution and I am not a no for dilution. I am once again, I'm facts over feelings, like I said. So if somebody can provide me the facts of why it's a good idea, if Adam Aaron can come out and say, hey, we need more shares and this is going to be how these shares are used, I'm going to be... You know, there's going to be lots of people who just stomp their feet and act like a small child, man, and I just don't do that kind of stuff. So I will be open to it under certain circumstances, so long as I feel like it's really fundamentally shores up AMC, because yes, I want it to squeeze. However, I want AMC to be profitable and awesome past the squeeze. Okay, so and the reality is, guys, is Adam Aaron doesn't want AMC to squeeze. He sees all the time a bunch of people bitching and whining and crying and complaining. As soon as this thing squeezes, I'm out, man. Screw it, I want my money and all. And so if I was him, I would be operating under the assumption of just like, dude, I'm going to lose a ton of my investors. A ton of people are going to sell shares, you know, when this thing really squeezes. And so if he needs to set it up to where when he knows he's going to lose, you know, a bunch of his investors, if this thing squeezes, I got no problem with him wanting to make sure that AMC is really fundamentally sound. Once again, his job is not to make AMC squeeze. Yes, his job is to protect his shareholders, but I promise you his opinion of his job protecting his shareholders is making sure that there's a company to, you know, invest in at that point in time. And so, like I said, I know this video is long. I'll let you guys get out of here. It's a touchy subject. I'm telling you right now, though, if you come after me, I'm just going to block you. Okay? You call me a shill, all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to block you. I don't care. You're not worth my time. If you're going to act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child, okay? If you want to have an adult conversation, even if we disagree, man, I'm all for that. I think debate is good and healthy. So like I said, I would support dilution at the end of the day under certain circumstances. But overall, it's like this, okay? And so we would need to, you know, have a conversation. If we're blindsided or anything along those lines, they show me a lack of integrity, anything along those lines, and I'm out too with a lot of you, okay? I hope this video is helpful. Please don't hesitate to ask me questions when it comes to it. I'll be as open, as honest with you guys as I possibly can, all right? But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Once again, probably going to trade pretty range bound, but we'll go from there. Y'all be good.